So we've developed our mathematical model, and we have our decision variables, our profit equation, also called the objective function, and our constraint equations, called constraints. We're going to develop this into a spreadsheet model. Below, I have set up good placement strategies for each of these aspects of the model. We have an area for decision variables, which is what we're trying to solve for. We have an objective function coefficient values here. We have our resource constraint coefficients here. Now in these blue cells is where we need to enter in the formulas. I will do it in two ways. The first way is just as it appears here, 25 times x1 plus 15 times x2. That's the profit function. I will enter that into the cell exactly the same way. I click in the cell, I push equals, and I do a click in this $25 cell, $25 times x1 plus $15 times x2, and I push enter. And of course, if I make 0 parts, I'm going to get $0 of profit, but this formula is entered in correctly. These equations down here are going to be entered in exactly the same way, but instead of returning a profit, it's going to return the total amount of the resource used. For instance, this equation will take 5 times x1 plus 8 times x2, and it will tell us the total amount of steel used to produce the camshafts and the gears. So in this cell, however, I'm not going to enter the formula in the same way. I'm going to teach you a new function in Excel if you haven't seen it. We push equals, and the name of the function is called sum product. We just type the word sum product right after the equal sign, and then open the formula entry area by using a parenthesis, an open-ended parenthesis. Now we get this help box down here once we've entered it in correctly, and it's asking for an array. It's the entry here in bold. It wants an array to be entered in next. An array is not just one cell, so we want to click on a range of cells, or an array, and we're going to start out with the decision variable cell. So I click and drag to select both decision variable cells as the first array that I enter into this box. Now I push comma to enter in the next array, and I select the coefficients, and I click and drag again to select the next array. Now I'm done. I'm going to close this parenthesis, and I push enter. Now what this function sum product does is it multiplies those cells that are in the same placement and adds them to the next product, which is the cells in the next placement. So this sum product of this range and this range is the same as putting the formula in as 5 times x1 plus 8 times x2. It would give you the same thing. And it's the same formula that you want to use for each of these other areas. But you can do that. The next step in this process is going to be using the solver function to optimize this model.